The night had settled like a heavy blanket over Lekki Phase 1, thick with humidity and the buzz of distant generators. From his corner booth in Mamba and Gold, one of Lagos's most exclusive rooftop restaurants, Chuka Obasi sipped his glass of Chapman slowly, his fingers absent-mindedly swirling the straw. The meeting had gone well. The French investors signed the deal. Obanet, his logistics empire, would expand across West Africa by year's end. Champagne had flowed, clinking glasses, handshakes, forced laughter. But Chuka felt nothing. He excused himself before dessert. Stepping into the night air, he adjusted the cuff of his agbada and walked toward his waiting car, the streets buzzing below like a different world. That's when he saw her. She was sitting by a rickety Suya stand, barely shielded from the drizzle. A worn Ankara scarf wrapped around her head, and in her lap, a sketch pad. Two barefoot boys sat beside her, munching puff-puff from a small nylon she had split evenly. She wasn't begging. She was drawing. Chuka paused beside the tinted SUV, one hand on the door handle, the other in his pocket. The girl looked up for a moment, catching his gaze. Her eyes were sharp, not pleading. Alive. He turned away quickly. "Let's go," he said to his driver. But in the back seat, he couldn't stop glancing at her through the window. She smiled at one of the boys, wiped his face with her scarf, and kept sketching. At home, his penthouse felt even colder than usual. Concrete, chrome, glass, no warmth. Not since Mama died. Chuka hadn't touched her things in months. Her room was still locked, her journals boxed. But something tugged at him that night. He opened the drawer of her bedside cabinet and pulled out a floral-covered notebook, her last journal. The final page was dated just weeks before her death. "I met a girl today near Oberland. Her sketching was beautiful, but her pain ran deeper. She reminded me of fire trapped in glass, dangerous if broken. If Chuka ever loses himself, I pray he finds her. Not to save her, but to let her save him." Chuka stared at the words. Could it be? The next evening, Chuka didn't go to work. Instead, he wore a simple kaftan, told his assistant to clear his schedule, and had his driver take him back to the Suya stand. She was there again. This time, standing with a cardboard board balanced on her knees, sketching a portrait of a market woman. Chuka stepped out and approached. "How much for one?" he asked, nodding at the sketch. She didn't look up. "Depends. You want beauty or honesty?" Chuka was taken aback. "Honesty." She finally looked up. "Then I'm not selling. Most people don't want to see themselves properly." Chuka chuckled. "Fair enough. I'm Chuka." "Tari," she said. "And before you ask, no, I don't need money." "I didn't offer." She smirked. "Then why are you here, Oga? Looking for a redemption story?" That made him pause. "No. Just saw you yesterday. Thought you were interesting." She raised a brow. "You're rich. I'm hungry. That makes me interesting." "No. The way you gave your last puff-puff to those kids. That was..." Tari blinked. Her eyes softened. "They haven't eaten in 2 days. Neither had I. But they were smaller." Chuka exhaled, slowly. "Come have dinner with me." She laughed. "I eat with people who mean it, not those who want to post it." "I'm not posting anything. I just want to talk." Tari studied him for a long moment. One meal. No camera. No pity. They sat at a small roadside buka a few blocks away. She ordered Ava agoin and bread. He ordered jollof with grilled fish. Over soft conversation and the noise of Lagos traffic, Tari spoke, not like someone who needed saving, but someone who had survived. She had once been a university student, studying fine arts at Unilag. Her mother died in a house fire when Tari was 19. Her uncle took her in, and tried to take more. She ran. Slept in parks, then on sidewalks, then by churches. But she never begged. "Begging kills your spirit," she said. "Drawing keeps it alive." Chuka was speechless. He'd built his Billionaire company from scratch. But this girl, she had built herself from the ashes. That night, after they parted, he couldn't sleep. He called his assistant and instructed her to draft a foundation, the Ngozi Trust, named after his mother. A platform to support young, displaced female creatives. And the first grant he decided would go to Tari. The next week, he invited her to an art showcase at the Civic Center. "I want you to speak. Share your story," he said. Tari refused. "You want people to feel inspired, Oga Chuka. But my pain is not your platform." He nodded. "Then come as my guest. No pressure." She arrived that evening in a second-hand gown, her scarf now embroidered with soft gold. She looked radiant, raw, and real. But whispers spread quickly. "Who's the girl? Another project for the billionaire?" Maybe his cleaner got promoted. Tari heard them. Her jaw tightened. She turned to leave. Chuka followed her out onto the balcony. The lagoon shimmered in the distance. "Don't listen to them," he said softly. She turned to him, eyes red. "You think this is new to me? I've been judged by people with empty hearts and fine clothes my whole life." "I don't care about them," he said. "I do," she whispered. "Because I care about me." And before she could say another word, Chuka went down on one knee. The murmurs inside stopped. Heads turned. "Tari, I don't want you to be a guest in my life. I want you to build something with me." Silence. She stared at him. Then, slowly, pulled a small velvet pouch from her side bag. Inside was a woven beaded bracelet, faded and old. She held it out. "I was told to give this to you when you were ready to see people, not positions." Chuka froze. He recognized the bracelet instantly. It had belonged to Mama. The next morning, Chuka drove to Trillionaire, to a small bungalow where Mama's former caregiver lived. Her name was Sister Boma, a retired midwife. Chuka had only visited once after the funeral. He sat with her under the mango tree in the compound and told her everything: Tari, the bracelet, the journal. Boma smiled. "Ngozi told me about her. Many times. She found her sketching behind Tejuosho Market. Said she had fire in her spirit. She left the bracelet with her. She left more than that." Boma handed him an envelope. "Your mother asked me to give you this when you finally stopped being hard." Inside was another journal entry. "I want you to know, Chuka, that I didn't just leave behind property or companies. I left behind people. Souls. Tari is one of them. If you can look at her and still see a beggar, then you've lost me. But if you see who she really is, then maybe I haven't failed you after all." Chuka's hands trembled. Weeks later, the Ngozi Center opened in Ikeja, an arts and vocational training hub for homeless and abused girls. Tari refused to be a face of it. Instead, she taught. Quietly, firmly. She built studios, gathered supplies, mentored. One afternoon, a girl named Zainab walked into the center barefoot, hungry and afraid. Tari gave her food, paper, and a pencil. Zainab drew a flower, one with cracks in its stem, but petals wide open. Tari smiled. "You're not broken," she said. "Just misplaced." Months later, a small wedding took place under the mango tree at Boma's house. There were no cameras, no fancy chairs, just people, real people. Chuka wore a simple white kaftan. Tari wore her mother's scarf. They exchanged vows quietly. No diamond ring, just the beaded bracelet. Years later, a documentary filmmaker visited the Ngozi Center. As he walked through the corridors lined with paintings and photographs, he stopped by a massive mural. Tari, sketching by a Suya stand, children laughing beside her. He asked one of the girls, "Who's she?" The girl smiled. "That's Auntie Tari." "Why is her photo here?" "Because she gave us more than food or a home. She gave us proof that even people the world throws away can change the world." The end. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share for more interesting stories.